Hi, I'm Ansley, and this is my Coach Carter intervention project. So, my first clip is going to represent Feely's mental skills. So, this is the scene where Coach Carter just stepped down as coach because everyone voted to let the gym open. And he decided if they were going to do that, he was going to step down as coach because he believes that he could not be the leader that these team and these athletes need. Because he wants their grades to be up. He wants them to do better. And basically, as he steps down and as he goes to the gym to get his stuff, the whole team is sitting at their desk and they're saying that they will not play until they get their grades up. And this is going to do the foundation skill, the performance skill, the personal development skill, and the team skill. So, our foundation skill is going to be self awareness. And this is going to be when they realize, oh, our grades do matter, which is the coach has described to them. They're wanting to improve them. The performance skill is going to be intentional focus. So this is going to be when they're studying, they're going to be have their attention focused on studying. Personal development is going to be competence, which is wanting to learn and more and wanting to know more. And then their team skill is going to be team cohesion, which is the weakness. So they decided to do this for themselves and it's going to improve them as a team. And they already have improved as a team. Okay, why does it matter? With Veely's model, an increase in self-awareness can increase a player's motivation and self-confidence as they gain more control. So with this, they're going to improve their motivation and their self-confidence, which is going to improve their performance as well and improve them as a team as a whole. Um, the team is learning attentional focus skills while studying, which I believe can be transferred into their skills for basketball. So studies show that attentional focus can increase performance and they can improve this literally in any situation. They can improve it with studying, with their jobs in the future, with basketball as well. With personal development and the players, they're going to want to learn more and increase their competition, which as well can be improved in their grades with their future jobs. As they want to learn more, they're going to want to know more. And then another study states that for having good team cohesion, they can improve the environment that the athletes are in, and they're going to want to thrive in that environment. So, having good relationships with each other is going to improve that environment to have a good environmental climate. Okay, clip two is mental toughness. And this is when Coach Carter tells Cruz that he has to complete for him to want to get back on the team. He's going to have to do 2,500 push-ups and 1,000 suicides by Friday for him to get back on the team. So of course, Cruz, he's going to stop. He's going to start going. Even in the middle of practice, he's not going to stop. So Coach Carter tells him that it's impossible and he should give up. But Cruz does not stop until the last minute, until he is physically forced to stop. And he does it in the middle of everything. He does not stop and nothing's going to stop him. So Cruz is using mental toughness, which is a state-like form of mental resilience, and it's about an athlete's ability to persist from failure and challenges. Okay, so there are four C's of mental toughness. We have commitment, challenge, confidence, and control. So commitment is committing to setting a goal and continuing this goal even with setbacks. So Cruz does this as he has his goal to finish his stuff and he will not stop until he finishes those suicides and those sprints. Challenge is seeing challenges as facilitative instead of hindering. So Cruz is going to realize that this challenge has a good outcome at the end, which is getting them back on the team. So he's going to see this challenge of all of this stuff with a good outcome. So he's going to see it as facilitative instead of hindering his performance. And then confidence, which is the belief in one's self in adversity. So even though there's all these setbacks happening, Cruz is going to believe in himself to get them done. And then we also have control, which is juggling a lot of things at once and remembering that you have agency. So this is Cruz believing that he has the agency to do this. So the fact that he is going to do all these things is his agency. Okay, why does it matter? An athlete with high mental toughness will have more self-belief, commitment, control, and the ability to see challenges as facilitative. So this is going to be so important for an athlete. Um, Studies also show that with mental toughness, it will improve resilience, which will then improve performance. Um, and then also other studies show that mental toughness with a transformational leader in adolescence will improve mental toughness and will also improve performance. And this is with a transformational leader. So Coach Carter is a transformational leader. He has that idolized influence because he wants to let himself serve as an example for everyone else. Then he also wants to inspire this group. You can see it so clearly as he even almost quit his job because he wants these athletes to not just win, but win in life, which is a very motivational thing to do. And with all of these things that they have set back and how no one really graduates from this high school institution, it's a good thing to have. They're also going to want to have the intellectual stimulation, which is um, encouraging new ways to solve problems. And he does this as well with getting them in the library by closing the gym. And then we also have individualized consideration. And although this might not be just individualized consideration, it's for the team, which is that sense of we-ness. Okay, so what does Cruz need to work on? Cruz, although that is a good example of his good mental toughness, Cruz really needs to work on his mental toughness. We have seen in for the rest of the movie, he does not have the best mental toughness because he can't commit to anything. He has dropped the team twice. Anytime there's a setback, he kind of just drops out and quits. So he sees those challenges as hindering. Um, yeah, he doesn't really have much control. The only control he has to do is just drop out of it immediately. Um, yeah. So this is going to be Cruz's preseason plan. So we're going to have a 4-week program for preseason, and we're going to meet once a week before practice, and we're going to do it in 60-minute sessions. So we're going to have a test done at the beginning of practice each week and an additional one at the end of the program to see the results. So basically the one done on the first day of each week is going to be on a Monday. And then we're going to have the last one at the very end of preseason to see the results from the beginning of the program to the end of the program. And the way that I do it throughout the week is because we are going to go over each C at each week. And I do it throughout the week because although we're trying to focus on one situation right now, a lot of the skills will improve other situations as well. For like challenge will also improve commitment. So we're going to improve it each week to see where we're at. So we're going to use the mental toughness questionnaire 48, which has 48 questions. And this is going to go over a challenge scale, commitment scale, life and emotional control, and then self-confidence as well, which will improve all the 4Cs. Okay, so week 1, we're going to have introduction and commitment. So we're going to go over the introductions. I'm going to include myself, and I'm going to introduce myself, sorry, and I'm going to get to know him. So we're also going to go over what a normal session is going to look like. We're also going to take the mental toughness questionnaire, and we're going to work on commitment this time. So our goal is to increase motivation. And we're going to do this by using task approach goals for a short term period. And we're going to use short-term periods like once a week, once a day, because the goals aren't really there for Cruz and we want him to get better. So we're going to start small. We're going to start so small so he can improve and get better and then get bigger and get better goals. Um, we want him to improve something to get better. We want his goal to improve himself. We want the outcome to improve himself, and we don't want it for an ego-oriented reason. We also want to focus on the pride of success. That success is going to be focusing on the good, which is going to increase motivation more than a negative goal or a negligent goal. And that's going to also improve challenge as well. And we're going to see that as facilitative. We're also going to make sure our goals are smarts. So specific, measurable, action oriented, realistic, timely, and self-determined. Self-determined is that meaning that Cruz also wants to do this as well, where he's going to have that sense of agency. Okay, so week 2, we're going to work is on challenge and seeing challenges and setbacks as facilitative instead of defacilitative. So our goal here is arousal regulation. So I've noticed that Cruz really follows the catastrophe theory, which basically is that like we have that we have the optimal raise of arousal. So once we get a little bit too high, he drops immediately. Once he gets that high catastrophe point and that high anxiety point or the arousal point, he's going to drop. And we have seen this in how many times he has dropped out of the program. So what I'm going to recommend is a breathing regulation technique for when stress is high to bring himself back to the optimal range of arousal so he can make a clear-headed decision before jumping the gun. And so basically when he feels that high arousal slash anxiety, he's going to take a deep breath from the diaphragm. He's going to do that a couple seconds before or a couple times before he makes his decision so he can bring himself back down and have a clear, calm-headed mind and be more in a relaxed state. Okay, so week 3, we're going to have control. We're also going to do mental toughness questionnaire. Surprise, surprise. I also forgot to mention that Cruz is going to be doing this on his own as well after each week. And then we're going to have like a little session at the beginning of the next session as well. But for control here, I'm going to use the use of imagery to assess a situation. So for this, I want Cruz to have more control in his mind and make clear, level-headed decisions. So the use of imagery here is to imagine himself in a stressful situation and remember that he is in control and can act. So an example is imagining himself in a situation where you're told that there's going to be a big change happening and you do not like it. And we're going to take a moment. We're going to imagine ourselves in our scenario. We're going to imagine what we're going to do. And we want it to be a positive outcome. And even if he does make a mistake, he can also use that imagery to be like, oh, I don't think this was the smartest decision. I can go back, rewind, and make another one, or I can deal with this mistake and then move on and figure out what I can do from here. And we're going to start small with 15 to 30-minute sessions. So in this session, we're going to do like a couple 15-minute sessions since it is only 60 minutes, but I'm also going to tell him to do a couple 3-minute sessions by himself. And then we're going to use that and he's going to improve that across the next couple of weeks as well. He's going to use it on his own and hopefully get bigger and better. And he can also use his small SMART goals to create an outcome like this as well. Okay, so week 4, we're going to work on confidence. So of course, we're going to go over what we have already learned as well. Then we're going to take the mental toughness questionnaire. And his goal is to increase self-talk. So we're going to use positive self-talk statements to increase positive mood. So examples like, I got this, I can handle the pressure, I belong here. We're going to use instructional self-talk for technical and task-oriented aspects. And we're going to say like, slow and relax, take a breath, refocus. And we're going to want him to not get over to the mental toughness point where he's going to want to injure himself. We're going to make sure that he's not going to do that. And then role as a coach. So Coach Carter, he's going to use verbal and nonverbal praise, such as the sandwich method, which is a positive statement, instruction, future-oriented instruction, and a compliment. And we're going to make sure that communication is clear, concise, courteous, correct, complete, and constructive. Constructive. Sorry, because we were going to want that to have an expectation and to athletes to know the expectation. And then we're going to want to have that personal recognition and generate optimism and trust, which she does as a transformational leader. And then here are my references. Thank you.